The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Today, we're breaking down the state of the Jets franchise following the first draft of the Glenn and Muji era. Will Parkinson returns to the show. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I got just the guy to get us going tonight.
Each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. We have a Yankee game outing before we bring on Will Parkinson. Reminder, if you want to join us at Yankee Stadium on June 29th for the next Asmaniac meetup, join the Patreon and you will see the link to purchase your ticket. Group discount rate to sit in section 223 with me and 40 other Asmaniacs as we watch the Yankees and the A's on Sunday, June 29th. That's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Let's say hello to a good friend of the show, fresh off a bachelor party where he had to manage drinking and live tweeting the Jets draft. We say hello to Will Parkinson. Will Paul, how we feeling?
I'm good, man. Good. I've gotten some sleep, been back in the gym for 4 days. So I'm 4 days of no sleep, right into 4 days of normalcy. We're feeling good, man.
How do you think the Jets are feeling following that draft? What do you think Glenn and Muji are thinking after their first 2025 draft class came together?
I would say they're feeling good. I don't think for I'd put it this way. Do I love all 7 picks? No. Do I like at least 4 of the 7 a lot? I do. So the Jets get 4 good players out of this draft, or even 3 starters. Like, that's a heck of a class, right? Like, that's, we talk about 2022 as this generational class. They have 4 starters, right? And obviously a couple of them are plus starters, so it makes it a lot better. But I don't think there's anything not to be really excited about, especially those first 3 picks. I think Membu was, whether it's Tyler Warren, Membu, Banks, whatever it may be, like, I don't think you really could have gone wrong at 7. And the Jets went with, say they're going to add to his strength and solidify the offensive line, which everyone in the fan base has been complaining about for 15 years. Round 2, everyone's complained about tight end. They go and add a tight end that I don't think, not a lot of people, I don't think, going into draft weekend thought would even be there at 42. And they were able to get him. And at 73, like, I love Zaire Thomas. I would say I disagree with a lot of the chatter I've heard about Zaire Thomas. Like, that dude could have been a first rounder, maybe a top of the second round guy. Had no business being there. It's pick 73. He was. I think the Jets said, hey, position of value, guy we love. Let's take the talent here that probably shouldn't have been here over maybe reaching for the next round of receiver that we didn't think, we can get into Arian Smith and, and Kiko and stuff, and we can crap all over them. And that's fine. Like, I get it. But, and then Malachi Moore in round 4, I mean, everyone I've asked can't speak highly enough about him. Yeah. Is he going to turn into Earl Thomas? Jake, probably not. But he's a 4th round pick who I would bet, is at this point a much better odds to be, on this team than some of the other picks. So again, I just, 4 of those guys I really like, and honestly, I don't really have much of a problem with their draft, especially if those are the top 4 guys. Yes, we can crap on the other 3, but I like a lot of what they did on Thursday, Friday, and mostly on Thursday, Friday, not as much Saturday.
So let's start with the positives, right? Yeah. What to you are reasonable expectations for Membu, Taylor, and I really like AZ Thomas as well. It's just a matter of, all right, where is he going to play year one. There was a lot of talk about, hey, maybe Stevens is going to safety. I had Rich Samini on my show yesterday, and he said there's no way.
I heard Rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you heard it. So you take it away. What are the expectations for the day 1 and day 2 picks?
So day 1, I think Membu will start. I think to start camp, they'll probably have Chukwuemeka for as a starting right tackle, and I think they'll do what they do with Olu, and they'll, progressively camp goes along. Membu's a young player. Remember, it's not like he's just turned 21. It's not like he's some, 6-year senior, anything like that. I think he'll work his way up. He'll be the day 1 starter. I think the line obviously will be Olu, Simpson, Tittman, AVT, and Membu. Everyone in their natural position, Jake. Which I'm not sure the last time we even said that. Like, genuinely, I don't know the last time. I guess last year technically, but let everyone in their prime and healthy. Knock on wood, going into the season. I think reasonable expectations is Membu in year 1 is an average starter, and then obviously gets better from there. Anything more than that would be amazing. But if he's just an average starter, and Olu goes to an above average starter, Tittman, AVT, and Simpson, all of whom were basically, above average starters a year ago, stay at that level, it's a pretty damn good line. Maybe AVT is back to the fully healthy AVT that we all know. Can Tittman take the next step? So I think their offensive line is going to be really good. I think, and funny enough, I actually think in the pass game, they're going to be really damn good, which is hilarious. Just thinking about they're going to go from throwing the ball a million times to passing a million times, to running a million times. I think reasonable expectations for Mason Taylor is probably, somewhere in the Tyler Conklin stat line range, where it's like good player, solid, reliable hands. I think he's a better blocker probably than Conklin. I don't think he's as experienced as a receiver, obviously, but I don't know. Jake, he's a day 1 starter, 21 personnel, is either Ruckert or Smart, depending on running or pass. I think he should. Can he be an average starter this year? Because I would raise the room, right? And then you go from there. Again, I don't want to cast as like Mason Taylor has to be 75 catches, 800 yards this year. Can he be 45 for 450 and 5 touchdowns? And you're like, hey, we got some solid production. We like a lot of Mason Taylor's not even 21 years old. He'll be 21 actually in a week from today. But if he's an average starter and Membu's an average starter, both guys in their age 21 season, you're feeling really good about things moving forward. I have very high hopes for Zaire Thomas. I truly know Rich has a different opinion, and Rich is awesome. And it's nothing I disagree. I think Stevens is going to be their starting safety next to Andre Sisco. And I think Zaire Thomas is going to win that job outright. I think that it allows Stevens to just play football and get away from having to just be this press man corner where he struggled last year, and get him a little further away from the football and actually be able to use some of his coverage skills, because he is a sticky cover guy. That's not his issue. And if he's playing against tight ends more and maybe backs, maybe he can be more utilized, and it can allow Sisco to play a little bit further up in the box. He's a good tackler. Sisco got burned a little bit last year, kind of being too aggressive on the back end. Can Stevens be more of that discipline, not as much of a ball hawk on the back end? Michael Carter in the slot, and then Malachi Moore can play some bigger downs. Can Malachi Moore play some, on the back end too? And then I just think the Jets want to play a lot of press man. They're going to let those, defensive linemen and probably Quincy at times, or Michael Carter or Malachi Moore, be able to blitz and do these different things and play press man with Thomas and Sauce and be like, we're going to, Glenn literally said it, we're going to choke you at the line of scrimmage. And Stevens played safety as a rookie. He was very much solid. I don't think it was a mistake, Jake, that the Jets listed Stevens as a safety. I just don't think that was a mistake. I know, the NFL listed him wrong. Well, I don't know about that. I tweeted it. I remember somebody else tweeted it too, and instantly it was changed. I don't think they were hiding it. I also just think that he's a guy that has flexibility. Malachi Moore has flexibility. Frankly, Michael Carter has flexibility. If you want to make Michael Carter a safety, you could. He played safety in college. So those guys I think will all start this year. Thomas is such a Aaron Glenn player. Perfect scheme fit, perfect character fit, tough as nails. I really like the pick. And then, Malachi Moore is the other guy. I think reasonable expectations is he plays this year. I don't how much, we'll see. He's coming off groin surgery, but he's a guy who extremely high football IQ. I had a scout text me just the words ass kicker. That's what Malachi Moore is, really physical. Thomas is really physical. So I think all 4 of those guys will play. And I think asking the 3 of those guys to be – can Zaire Thomas be an average starter at corner? Jake, we talk a lot about how slow Zaire Thomas is. DJ Reed ran the 4.5s too, and is 5'8". Zaire Thomas is like a full – he's a big dude. So, that's that. And then the other 3 guys, I think the last 2 Miami guys can bear and beat out Clemens for that 4th or 5th edge spot. I think that everyone will be happy about that. Can Kiko be your 3rd linebacker and just be a special teams guy and heartbeat kind of guy on specials? And then Arian Smith's the weird one because while I get everyone hating the pick, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form endorsing him going in the 4th round.
I've never seen a 4th round pick get more scrutiny than Arian Smith.
That's where I was going to go is can we just and again, I'm not saying you can't crush the Jets for doing stuff we don't agree with. And I would have taken him in the 6th or 7th round and I would have understood it. And the Jets maybe misread the board here. And I am not going to sit here and tell you that I was in the draft room. I wasn't. But I do think that he does have a use in this offense, and having a guy that can be a burner that can at least you have to be on your toes. Yeah. Arian Smith's hands, not a strong suit. And that's a problem. But they also had nothing in the return game last year. Can him and what's his name? Oh my God. Him and Kenny, can one of those guys house 1 kickoff return? Just 1 this year, right? Can they bring 1 punt back for more than 5 yards? Again, my expectations is Smith plays 10 or 15 snaps a game. He runs a lot of clear out routes, probably 1 end around and 1 deep ball shot a game. So, yeah, I think all 7 guys will have some type of role. I expect at least 3 of those guys to start, though, at some point this year.
It's going to be interesting to see kind of how it plays out with this class because I agree with you on Stevens. To me, Thomas is going to force himself on the field. So if Stevens could play safety, why wouldn't you move him there? I understand Rich brought up the salary, but, I mean, what does it matter?
Once he's on the roster, it doesn't matter, right?
You paid him already. It's not like you're worried about having to pay him in the future, and he gets more money if he plays corner. Like AVT played guard, then he got moved to I don't think it matters. Who cares what you're paying the guy if he's on the team and you're paying him anyway? If you believe your best defense is Stevens at safety with Cisco, and then your corners are.
You just want the best 5.
Yeah, you're trying to win games, right? That to me should be the best thing. And I don't think Glenn's going to care about salaries, this and that. He's going to put the players on the field that he thinks gives them the best chance to win games.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Aaron Glenn, we give the Lions a lot of a hard time last year about, hey, the defense at the end of the year, and everyone's he shouldn't be the head coach because of it. First of all, they lost 17 starters on to IR, so let's give me a break. He had to meet Robertson, shutting Justin Jefferson down in the biggest game of the year. Amit Robertson, by the way, who, not to be a dick, that dude, he's not some superstar player. Great, fun character. Aaron Glenn will play you and will coach guys up. I think, Jake, we kind of forget of yes, everyone didn't want a defensive head coach, and I get it. But Zaire Thomas at 20 years old is already a damn good player. Who's to say being around Aaron Glenn and Sauce and Michael Carter every day is not going to – and Dre Bly and all these different guys and Steve Wilkes, isn't he going to get – isn't there a lot left in the tank there? He's not some – again, we're not talking about some 24-year-old, 6th-year, 7th-year senior who's transferred 6 times and the Jets drafted because he's a fun story. He's 20 years old. And there's so much left in the tank there. So, I would just put the best 5 on the field and figure it out. And you can rotate in the Malachi Moores, and you have Tony Adams as depth, and you have Isaiah Oliver. So, I don't know.
Dave Brigga says, Will, great takes on the secondary. Hopefully it comes to fruition. Let me say this. If you gift Dave Brigga a membership, I'm sending you an item from the JakeAsman.com merch store. We can't have One Punch Brigga without a badge next to his name. Henny cuts the line. You don't have a badge either, Will. If anyone gives Will Parkinson their channel, his channel membership, same thing applies. We'll send you an item from the JakeAsman.com merch store. Hennessy says, I bet Smith plays more than Corley did for Ulbrich. What are your thoughts on Corley's role now? I thought Rich illuminated something intriguing, basically saying that Rodgers had a lot to do with the Corley pick.
That was a Rodgers pick.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so that's a Rodgers pick. Now, do the Jets have any plans for Malachi Corley? What are your thoughts on him?
I would operate as if Malachi Corley is a fringe roster guy until proven otherwise.
Does he make the team?
I think he makes the team. He's got a lot of work to do. Like everyone's talked about different regime. Jake, you know who's not a different regime? The one spot that's the same exact.
The wide receivers coach. Yeah.
Yeah, the wide receivers coach who was around Malachi Corley last year, who if Corley showed anything last year, he would have played. I don't buy for a second that this is all on coaching. I think there's a lot of look in the mirror. The NFL is difficult. You're not going to be handed things. You're a third-round pick. That's great, but no one cares anymore. So I don't know. I think he'll make the team, but man, it's a frustrating situation because what he's good at, I don't know. How much better is he as a slot yak guy than Donovan Edwards is? Like, is he that much better? Right? I don't know. He's undersized. He's not a great route runner. Doesn't return kicks or punts. Like what?
I don't know why they never gave him a chance to do it. Because to me, the kickoff is like a giant run play.
Yeah, the kickoff one's weird. Punts. I watched him catch punts all summer. Yeah, I wouldn't have put him back there either. But the kickoff return stuff's weird because theoretically, this rule is made for players like Malachi Corley.
It's like a giant run play. Like to me, it'd be perfect.
Literally just a wide zone play over 40 yards. Like it's really weird. I'm confused at that one. I hope Corley shows something, man. I really do. I have my doubts. I think it's going to have to be an internally driven, like, I'm going to go out and like break the stigma of what I was last year. Because let me tell you, Sean Jefferson's a hard ass, and he is not going to just hand Malachi Corley stuff because there's a new head coach in town.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Once again, if you gift Will Parkinson or Dave Brigger their channel membership, we send you a free item from my merch store, and you get a raffle ticket entry in our full-sized Joe Namath helmet. It arrived today, by the way, folks. It is a big box. The display case is epic. Everything you see on the screen there, the photo doesn't do it justice. It is a full-sized helmet with display case and the certificate of authentication, and you have a chance to win a signed Justin Fields helmet, a signed Joe Klecko helmet, and a signed Aaron Glenn helmet. So those are the top 4 prizes in this week's raffle. Let's talk about Jordan Travis.
That's not bad.
Pretty good, right?
It's not bad, Jake.
Got to keep it rolling. Let's talk about Jordan Travis, Will. Your thoughts on him retiring, of course, the human aspect, just a terrible situation. But from a football standpoint, I think the Jets should have taken a quarterback on day 3 at some point. I understand they didn't have to, but my initial read on it was, they must think Travis is going to be healthy for training camp and he's maybe just as good as any of their options. Well, they obviously knew he wasn't healthy. Maybe they didn't know he was going to retire, but they knew he wasn't right going into this draft. What are your thoughts on that angle of the Jordan Travis retirement?
Yeah, so I think I was on your show maybe 6 months ago, and I saw Jordan Travis. I was like, dude, I don't know if he's ever going to play down for this team, and I feel bad, but he never even practiced last year. And I thought the agent's article was, I don't know, I felt that was like a lot of. Look, unfortunately, the knee and the ankle never recovered, and it's a shame. Looks like he's gonna be coaching at Florida State, which is really cool. I'm glad he's gonna be able to be involved in the game of football. The injury was disgusting. Anyone who hasn't watched it, honestly, you don't need to. Do I think they should have taken a quarterback? No, but I also think they knew about this for a while. I don't think this was the timing of it was interesting. Obviously, maybe if this was only I think they had an inclination that Jordan Travis was going to be an option. Now, if you told me they took Jalen Milroe, sure, I would have been on board with something like that. But overall, my issue is what are we taking the quarterback for? What if there was a true purpose? I get it. But if the Jets are down to their third string quarterback anyways this year, I just feel like you're the roster's not in a spot where I feel like they could have wasted a pick on a 6th-round quarterback. Now,
McCord in the 6th round instead of this linebacker.
So, again, I would have gotten it, but so I guess my only question would be, what's the ideal hope? That he's a long-term backup? And then,
Either that or if this team starts 1-7, right?
Yeah.
Instead of going from Fields to Tyrod Taylor,
Yeah,
you go to the young guy.
You're trying to like see what you got, right?
It's like it's not the same thing because Dart is obviously a first round guy, but like Dable and Shane to save their job, if the Giants stink with Russell Wilson or Jameis, whatever combination they want to go, then at the end of the year, you know what? They're going to go to Dart, and if Dart shows something, that might be enough to save their job. No one's worried about Glenn and Muji being fired after a year, but at least it'd be, hey, we're going to give a young quarterback a chance, see if we have something before we then have to use a premium pick in taking a guy in round 1. Now, maybe they would still take a guy anyway, even if, that 6th round guy is okay. But I don't know. I just think I subscribe to the theory if you don't have a quarterback, you should just throw a dart every year and try and find someone.
Generally I'd be on the same page. I just felt like this class was particularly like, even the upside was like bad, like max long. Like I love Riley Leonard, but like Riley Leonard's at best, like you don't want playing more than a couple of series at any point. And I wonder if the Jets looked at it and said, we have a bunch of holes on this roster. We're going to end up taking a quarterback at some point anyways down the line. Why don't we just like roll with what we got? And maybe they add somebody. Look, the Jets also could still add another body to that quarterback room. They only have 2 guys right now that obviously would be on the roster. Maybe they're envisioning, hey, we're only going to have 2 guys on the roster anyways, and we can't afford to draft a Kyle McCord knowing that if we cut him, then like someone's going to pick him up because he means he probably had a good preseason. So I think that might be more it's maybe the roster gymnastics part of it. They could always also, maybe the Jets go into camp and, they end up picking up one of these young guys that doesn't make the roster, and they go with that. I just think maybe it's a roster gymnastics team thing too. At the end of the day, I would have been on board with taking a quarterback like a Milroe in round 3 or 4. Maybe if he gets to 110, they take him there. You know what I mean?
Do you think Shador was ever in play at any point?
No,
I don't think so either. I don't think he was on their board.
I would tell you that I don't know. I'm not going to go down this road, but I would just say that I don't think Shador he had a bad process with a lot of teams, and I don't think the Jets are excluded from that.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he.
I don't think the articles that came out around the combine, Jake, when we were together, I think there was a very pointed top 7 teams wasn't by accident.
Yep. A classic Josino word vomit Anderson.
ChatGPT, baby.
Ralphie Rocks coming through for the people. Ralphie, great story before I shout out who got his memberships. So Ralphie's son is an Alabama alum. Ralphie knows Malachi Moore's family. He actually has a Malachi Moore jersey. Huge fan of the Moore family. So we're working on getting the great Malachi Moore on the show. But Ralphie is the only Jet fan, I'd imagine, that owns a Malachi Moore jersey. He called in to show it off on the show, which was awesome. So I really like that pick.
Someone that I know well described Malachi Moore to me as the nicest person you'll ever meet off the field and an absolute maniac lunatic with a light switch that goes on the field, which I love. I'm excited about Malachi Moore. Again, I don't know what his upside is going to be like in the NFL because, again, he's not like this elite athlete that's going to test out of the gym. He's 5'11 and a quarter, 5'11 and a half, 200 pounds. Like, he's not he's not Cam Chancellor, but like that dude will make sure you feel it if he hits you. Like, there is no doubt about that.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
5 memberships from Ralphie. Here we go. Paulie, Crappy, Michael Felice, Motivated T, and Juju. Gotta love Crappy. Gotta love it. Now, you gotta love how people are acting when there's no consequences online. And allow me to illuminate what I'm talking about here. So when we were talking about memberships before, a guy by the name of Astup spammed the chat. Can I get a membership? Can I get a membership? And then when I gave my take on how I would have taken a quarterback on day 3, Astup didn't like that, and he wrote, "Your P word, Jake." So Astup, not only are you not going to get a membership, but you're also done watching the show for the day. We will see you later. Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it. See ya.
Peace, baby.
Cashmere Black writes in with a super chat. AZ will be our new Cromartie opposite of Sauce. I mean, as far as like size and play style, it is Cromartie-esque a little bit from what I've gathered.
Yeah, I think I don't want to say he's Richard Sherman because people are going to be like, "Oh, dude, that's ridiculous." But I just mean in terms of like,
He was comped to Ramsey on the broadcast. I saw.
Listen, man,
I'll take that.
the Jets end up with Jalen Ramsey opposite Sauce. The Jets will be in a decent spot. I get a lot of pushback on this, Jake. I think their secondary is really good. Like I don't know what I'm missing. I think Thomas and/or Stevens is going to be more than fine at outside corner, right? Like I think Stevens would be better if they have both those guys on the field. Cisco is a huge upgrade from Chuck Clark. Even last year, Cisco, who by far was his worst year, that entire Jags defense was an abject disaster. But like if you get normal Andre Cisco the first 3 years of his career, he's an above average starting safety. That's much better than what Chuck Clark was. Free safety. Is Stevens and/or Malachi Moore, dare I say, better than Tony Adams or Ashton Davis? Probably, right? Michael Carter barely didn't play last year, and his back was totally screwed up. He's fully healthy. I can tell you. So that's obviously an upgrade from last year. Sauce had his worst year of his career and was still very good. He should be better. He's put on at least 10 pounds of muscle. I'm not going to touch on the girlfriend stuff, but no one's paid attention to the fact that dude's over 200 pounds finally, which is huge because Sauce did not tackle well the last 3 years. And then at outside corner, like DJ Reed did not have a good year last year at all. And everyone last year was like, this secondary might be the best in the league. And somehow they've gotten better at most of the spots and they're worse. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, Jake, but like it's a lot of pressure on like Azaria Thomas, and maybe it's a lot of whatever, and maybe it'll be proven right as the season goes on. But I think their secondary is very good. Like I just do, and I think they're going to be coached up the right way on top of guys with good talent levels. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit and whatever, but why is this defense not going to be good? Because
it should be good.
Should be very good.
The issue with the defense is, can they stop the run? I didn't like not getting a defensive tackle when
that's the one. Drafted. Yeah, that's the one spot to me. You mentioned quarterback. I would have loved instead of the Kiko pick to go defensive tackle, like a Tim Hill, even a Ty Robinson in round 4. But yeah, they didn't do that. But they also might like the way their room looks enough right now. And then again, post June 1, I would say the Jets probably add a guy or two, right? I think a lot of money coming off the books. There's not a ton of guys out there, but they can always add a veteran guy that can give them 25 snaps a game. It's a big fatty that, and whatever. So, yeah, I feel like the defenses should be pretty good. If Jermaine's good, right? Let's just say Jermaine's like 85%, 90% of Jermaine. That's a huge upgrade from what was opposite there last year, which was Michael Clemens. So, again, Quinnen had a down year. Quincy had a down year. Sauce had a down year. Michael Carter had a down. I think
only Sherwood on defense and McDonald had a plus year.
And again, Will McDonald should only be getting better. Like edge rushers, usually years 3 through 6, that's where they start to really take off. So, yeah, I'm pretty bullish on the defense. I think it should be coached. Steve Wilkes is awesome.
Yeah,
I think people forget, like they think about that 10 year in Arizona. Jake, when he was the interim coach for Carolina, that year was looking like an abject disaster, if you remember. And they finished that year 6-6 with a team that had 0 to play for. Like, I don't know, man. I loved what he did down there. And everyone that covers the Panthers swears by Steve Wilkes. They're like, he is unbelievable. He got all this crap for the Super Bowl because Kyle Shanahan blew it. Classic. And that team was a Super Bowl defense that if Trey Greenlaw doesn't get hurt, they run away with that. So, like, I feel pretty bullish on the defensive staff. Aaron Curry's going to do a really good job with the linebackers. Like, I don't know. Quincy was hurt last year a lot. I just feel like there's a lot of talent there. Again, there's question marks for sure. Defensive tackle, I think, could add a body. Probably even edge could add one more body, and you'd be okay with it. But on paper, like it should be a top 10 defense. I don't think that's like a crazy statement. Why are they that much better than 2022, which was a top 2 or 3 defense in the league?
100%. And like, that's the thing I keep coming back to. It's this team was not coached with Jeff Ulbrich. Talent wise, how many teams in the league have an all pro at all three levels of their defense.
Yeah.
Quinnen's been a first-team All-Pro. Quincy Williams has been a first-team All-Pro. They decided to pay and retain Sherwood because they know he's a young 25-year-old ascending player. They have Sauce Gardner. They have Michael Carter. Like, these guys have been All-Pros. They've been Pro Bowl level players. McDonald is really good. Jermaine's now going to be back. Like, there's a lot of talent there. If they're coached better, they should be a lot better defensively. Like, they can't be worse. It'd be very difficult to fathom that.
Plus, like, they also shouldn't be on the field for hours because they should be able to be on offense to be able to run the football and, like, I don't know. I think I think I said this when they hired Glenn. They will give up more yards this year than they gave up, with the solid defenses.
Because they're going to blitz more, you think, right?
They're also going to get a lot more turnovers because they're going to be taught to go after the football. That's where Malachi Moore and Zaire Thomas, like, I think they're going to ask Sauce to gamble more. I think they're going to ask Michael Carter to gamble more, which, again, you might give up bigger plays. There's also weeks you're going to take the ball away 4 or 5 times. That's the thing that used to frustrate, I think, a lot of people under the solid defenses where they're really good. They hit the quarterback a lot. But it was a lot of, like, 3 and outs and stuff, which is fun. But they never took the football away, ever. And it'd be nice for the Jets in one game to get short fields because instead of getting just like forcing punts after a couple first downs, which, again, they didn't give up points. So, bend don't break. But it would be nice to be like, hey, they get 1 touchdown, but they took the ball away twice, and they stole 2 possessions, and they were inside the team's 40-yard line. Like, getting back to some of that would be really nice, I just think, as a fan, where you can watch a game and be like, hey, can we have a big play on defense and actually think you could create it, as opposed to the solid defenses was like death by a million cuts and then hold to a field goal.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you have a question on the Jets, the draft, anything going on in the NFL for Will or I, super chat it in. Big fella with a great line. Aced up is now ass up in the hole. Well said. Shout out to Josh B., the man himself of the company, the Prez. Shout out to all the ESPN New York listeners. The company is a fan group of the station. They gave me this hat at the Jet watch party I hosted a week ago. So shout out to the company. Jace, the company, says, love the hat. Appreciate you, Jace. David Atkins gifted 5 channel memberships. Reminder, if you gift Briga a membership or Will a channel membership, I'm sending you a free item from the merch store. The following 5 people are now channel members: Les Comar, TP Jet, Heavyweight, J-Rod, and Nemesis 561. Will, let's talk about this 2022 draft class. We know that the 5th-year options were exercised on all 3 of those guys: Jermaine, Sauce, and Garrett. Brees doesn't count. 2nd-round picks are going into contract year, final year of his rookie deal. I want to start with Sauce and Garrett. You have said on the record you think both guys will be paid by the start of the season. Do you still feel that way? Have you heard anything in regards to that?
Yeah, I still feel that way. I don't think anything would have changed there. I feel pretty good about that. I think they'll wait on guys like Simpson and AVT, and maybe they give Quincy something, like a year, an extra year, something like that. But maybe they play the comp long game. They're going to get 2 comp picks this year. So, yeah, I don't see why those don't get done. Both guys have been in the building. They're working out. You reward your young players. I think you go into next year, with some good vibes of, hey, restarting the regime, new regime, restarting things. A lot of young talent. This team's going to be extremely young, which is a good and a bad thing. But yeah, I think they both will get extended before camp is what I would educate. I guess on.
Do you have an idea what the numbers would look like for these type of deals?
No, but like gut feel would be like maybe Garrett's like 4 for 128-ish, which is like 32 a year. So it's not top of market, but it's obviously a good number. It's above. I think Connor Hughes reports something around the $25 to $30 million range. Maybe the Jets go a little higher than that on AAV, less guaranteed money, maybe something like that. Sauce one's weird because if he wants to be the highest paid in terms of like average value, it's kind of unfortunate because Stingley's is so much higher than the rest of the market. I wonder if the Jets say, hey, we'll give you the most total dollars and try to get it done that way. Be like, hey, we'll do 4 for whatever, 120. So you're at 30 a year. You're not the highest in terms of AAV, but you get the most actual cash. So maybe, I don't know. I think they will try to get both guys on 4-year deals just because the age of the player, you want to maximize what you have under control. Plus with the 5th-year options, the deals are really like 5-year deals. So yeah, I think those will both get done this summer, and we'll be feeling good going into camp. Saying, hey, we got some young stars locked up. It's a really young roster, exciting offensive line, exciting defense. Can Justin Fields? Rich said it yesterday, 8-4 in his last 12 as a starter. I'm not telling you he's going to be the biggest gift, but like we've seen all these other top 10 picks, the top 15 picks have had these rebounds in their third stop, or third or fourth stop, depending on the team. So much better coaching. I'm not as doom and gloom on this team as everybody else seems to be, and I get it. I get why, but yeah, like I don't know, Jake. Like their schedule's pretty easy. They don't travel a lot. There should be a young team. The coaching, I cannot emphasize. They might have been the worst coached team last year I've ever seen in my life. It was horrible. Like they had no idea what they were doing. And yeah, I've again, maybe it's just because it's the first year regime. You feel good about where things are, but I'm not like down on them right now. I get they don't have the superstar quarterback, but outside of that, like what'd they really lose? They lost Devontae Adams, right? They have a hole at pass catcher for sure, but they sucked with Devontae Adams. So I don't know how much better they made him. In 2022, when they were 6-3, their receiver room looked a lot like it does right now. It was Garrett Wilson and a bunch of guys who were like, didn't really excite you. Their running back room is better than it was then. Their offensive line is better than it was. Their quarterback's better. Their tight end room is probably the same. And the defense and special teams should be good. And they had a bad coach. So, and that team was Zach Wilson shitting his pants away from being in first place in the division in November. Like, I'm not trying to tell you there's some fairy dust that's going to happen, but I just don't see 3-14. Like, I don't see them being the first overall pick, or, I still think they'll draft a quarterback probably next year in the first round, but I don't think it's just going to be because they have the first overall pick, I guess.
If this team finishes with the worst record in football, that tells me that this coaching staff is fraudulent. There's too much talent for this team to be that bad.
Here's a good example, and I want to say Don LeGreca made this point. I'm going to give Don credit here. Shout out to Don if he's watching. Why does anyone have any faith in the Giants coaching staff? They were the worst team in the NFL last year. Like, you can't possibly be a good coach if you finish as the worst team in the league. Like, you just can't. I'm sorry. Like, that's the way it works. Like, the NFL is very coaching quarterback driven. And I get the Giants had no quarterback, and I would get I don't know. If they suck this year, you can't just be like, oh, it's just because of the quarterback. Like, we just fell into that trap, right? Did we not just fall into that trap with the Jets? And we're like, oh, it's not Robert Saleh. I fell into it too. It's just Zach Wilson. And it turns out it's actually Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson. We're both terrible. So
and Woody firing Saleh at 2 and 3.
Woody firing Saleh and then hiring a janitor, which I got excited about at the time because I thought he was going to hold some discipline. And turns out he's even bad with guarding his iPad password. So
God. Just remember, though, Hassan Reddick is one of the most selfless players that Jeff Ulbrich has ever seen.
We're going to watch the tape. You've been fired. You don't have to watch the tape anymore.
Sorry, Coach. Indy Jets, thank you for gifting a channel membership. Your membership went to listener Sean David. Indy will get you in the Asmaniac raffle for one. Good question from Boom, who says, Will, do you think the Jets were taking a 2-year approach to drafting, knowing they are unlikely to be fired this year and will get their quarterback and remaining missing pieces next year?
Yeah, I think that a good GM is drafting for now and also drafting for needs in the future. Like, I think that Mike Renner was just on my show yesterday, and we were talking about the Falcons and how I hated the James Pierce trade because I don't love the player, and they gave up so much to get him. You know who does that? GMs that are about to be fired. You know who, the Jets actually being able to draft with a mindset of this year and next year. Hey, next year we have our full complement of picks, plus we're going to have an extra 4th rounder, plus we're going to have an extra 7th rounder. And, our cap space is going to be in a much better situation where, if we can make, again, my opinion, the goal should be, can you try to sneak 9 or 10 wins in the way the Steelers and all these different teams do every year? I'm not saying it to be great. You're going to be a Super Bowl contender, but can you be a team that sneaks in as a 7 seed? You break the drought, and you establish, hey, we're a good coaching staff. We have a base of our roster we love. Now we actually have cap space and a bunch of draft picks to go either get our quarterback or Field shows he's the guy, and they have a Baker situation like the Bucs. That should be the goal. And I think for them, they're probably thinking, how can we be competitive this year, but also solidify our offensive line? How do we solidify our tight end spot? Like, how do we do these different things to make ourselves in a good spot for, now and then in the future?
Joshua says, Ulbricht's laptop password, brick.
Bricked up, baby.
Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to a couple calls with Will, and then we'll say goodbye. Let's say hello to one of our favorites on the line, the great Kyle Clifton.
Kyle.
All right.
What's up, fellas?
Kyle. There we go.
What's up, Beast?
How you doing?
How are we doing?
So, I think coaching staff is going to be so huge for us, right? So huge. Like the whole thing with last year was the defense, as good as it was in the first few years of the Saleh regime, they got stale and predictable, right?
Yep.
It was
They didn't do anything.
Yeah. They were at their best when, they were going to rush with 4 guys, but when they went off book, you saw in the Dolphins game when they had the backed up against the end zone and they had the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
The corner blitz. That stuff has to be in the repertoire, and for Saleh and Ulbricht, it largely wasn't, right? And then the offense. I mean, we're talking about the wing T basically that they were running compared to the rest of the league. So that's just something where if we do have the talent that we think we do, I'm with Will. I think that 7 or 8 games is not out of the realm of possibility this year. But a lot is going to depend on Fields, and a lot is going to depend on the development of some of these young players. And for some people come out of nowhere, right? Like Mason Taylor, like, Corley. Like, we have to get a little bit more from our offensive.
Can someone play to the back of their baseball card? Like, that's the thing for me is I don't think anyone really, we talked about on defense, but like just in general last year, did anyone have the season they wanted last year? Like, I feel like everyone had a down year, and like usually guys rebound to the mean, right? Like Garrett Wilson should be better than he was last year. Not because Justin Fields is some like unbelievable quarterback, just because like everything didn't flow right last year, or Brees was kind of bad last year. Like, can Brees just be at least kind of back to what he was more the first 2 years? Because if that's the case, he punches maybe a few more in the end zone where like he just was allergic to scoring. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying these guys have to be all pros, but like, I don't know. Can Quincy Williams be 85, 90% of the first team all pro, Quincy? Because that dude's still amazing. Last year, I feel like he was 65, 70% of it. Like, just meet somewhere in the middle, and you go from 5 wins to 8 wins very easily by not just like shitting down your leg at the end of games. Like, they did it so much last year that it was actually comical. They set the NFL record for most choked games in the fourth quarter. Like, that's really hard to do.
Right. And under the new scheme, if we can just have some depth shake out from the remnants of, the Joe Douglas regime, the guys that they took in the mid to late rounds, and the guys that we took in this draft and brought in through UDFA, maybe we'll have something to build on for next year. That's the hope. That's the dream.
100%.
Right.
Look, if Glenn's the real deal, this will turn around. Like, coaching is so important, as we've seen in the NFL. Like,
aren't they the 2024 Mets is what your hope is? That like the I said if they're the 2023 Mets, all this hype, old roster, a lot of guys getting paid a ton of money. They had like they had the bigger name. Could he get fired? Is he not going to get fired? Manager. And then 2024, they get a guy that actually fits well with the team as their manager. They kind of rely on more of the young guys. They went more 1-year prove it deals with some of these younger high upside arms, which is what they just did on defense. and it worked. And this team, and they were a playoff team, and now everyone feels great about the Mets because they broke kind of like that Mets stigma. Then they got one or two generational pieces, obviously. And again, I'm not a Mets fan, but like Mets fans feel a lot better than they did going into 2025, I think, than they did going into 2024 or 2023. I apologize.
So, Will, can I ask one last question?
Yeah, of course.
How old are you?
30.
30? Okay. So bachelor parties still make sense. All right.
Yeah.
It scared me a little bit what you were describing because the last poolside bachelor party I went to was my own, and that was about 13 years ago. And I was the last one of the group to get married. So
there you go.
I know the payments involved.
Where was your bachelor party?
It was in Vegas at Mandalay.
Oh,
Nice. Kyle
mess.
Clifton in Vegas. How about that?
Yeah, about 20 something guys. It was pretty good. But I appreciate the time, guys.
No, of
Ladies and
course.
gentlemen, Kyle Clifton. Now, Will, I'm going to debut something with you right now that's going to rock your socks. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's David T time.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me, full screen. It's fireball, whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Oh my God! Hi guys.
What's up, David?
A new intro.
It was time. We had to keep it fresh.
I didn't realize I was that important a person, but boy, your show and all your people make me feel good, Jake.
You're the man, David.
I'm thinking positivity. Coaching. I mean, if they're good coaches and I mean, just the fact if they can clean up the dumb penalties and attention to detail, that might be one or two games on. And if they can get the running game going and the tight ends and wide receiver, it can only be good for Justin Fields. I don't know if that's a recipe to improve his passing game, but at least it's given him a chance.
Absolutely.
So the bottom line is I'm feeling more confident, Jake. My buddy up in PA and I'm retired on a fixed income, so $50 is a lot of money to me. But I asked him today if I send the money up, he's gonna put the 5.5, the over for the Jets. So I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Ladies and gentlemen, David T is on the over 5.5, and that means you should be too.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me, full screen. It's fireball, whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Will, how confident are you in over 5.5?
I'm pretty confident over 5.5. I'm going to pick them to win 9 games.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Positivity, people.
I'm going to pick between 8 and 9. Depends. If they can add one or two guys, can they add, I don't know, one receiver maybe and one or two defensive players and edge and a defensive tackle? I don't know. They add Zadarius Smith and Foley to the defensive line. And I don't know, man. I just think there's a path to them being a competent, competitive football team week in, week out, where they catch a few breaks. They probably win one or two games they shouldn't. And yeah, they win 8 or 9 games. And we're doing this next year when the Jets are can they win 11, 12 games and push the Bills for the division title because the roster is actually good enough. And they're in a good spot because we actually believe in the coaching.
Will, you're the man. Appreciate you hopping on. As always, good to catch up with you post-draft.
Thanks for having me, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Will Parkinson. All right, I'm going to stay on for the rest. Check out Will's podcast, TOJ, Turn on the Jets. More of your calls right now. First, a quick reminder that we're available in podcast form. Search Jake Asman Show wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Leave a review, and you can listen to anything you might have missed. It's the exact show you're watching now. It's just in audio form to make it easier for you to take the show on the go. Mike is up next on the program. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, Jake?
Mike, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm feeling a lot better than I was on Monday, that's for sure. I just wanted to stop in and see how you're doing and check the show out, man. And it's been a while since I've actually got a chance to sit in and listen to you.
You were in the hospital, right, Mike? That was you tweeting me.
Yeah, so Monday I got hit by an 18-wheeler and put into a wall. Walked away with surprisingly just a couple lacerations and a concussion.
Wow. I'm glad that all things considered, you're obviously okay. That's scary. Wow.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to ask you, I mean, how do we feel about Justin Fields this year? Is there potential that he could develop into the QB that we thought he was in 2021?
I look, gun to my head, I would say probably not. I would bet on that not happening, but I would have said the same thing about Baker in Tampa, Darnold with the Vikings. So I think if you were going to move on from Rodgers, to me, the only move was to sign Fields because he's 26 and there's an upside there. And I think you could actually build an offense around his strengths. He's an elite runner. They're going to try and run the football. They draft Membu. They still have Brees, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. Like, there's a path to this offense being competent. We saw that with Rex, ground and pound. Like, I think if the defense is fixed, if Glenn's a good situational coach, and they have a real plan on offense, they could be a decent team. Like, I'm not punting on this year. They should try and win as many games as possible.
No, I mean, I wasn't a fan of the Mason pick, to be perfectly honest, but I mean, I kind of thought about the Fields sign. I'm like, this is kind of a perfect sign for him, or a perfect draft for him. Is Mason's a great blocking tight end. He's not going to really win you over the field on catches, but I mean, he's really good for what Fields can do. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think he's an improving receiver. Like, people say they didn't really use his full skill set at LSU just because they had so many weapons on the team. But here's a great stat for you. So Fields has a QBR of 87.7 when targeting tight ends over the last 2 years. Only Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy have a higher QBR in that span when targeting tight ends. So I think they clearly know that Fields is going to throw it to the tight end, and getting a guy like Taylor, who I think has some upside, he's only 20, going to get better. I think that's really going to help.
Oh, absolutely. With the offensive line that we have, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be telling based on who we have at the running back and wide receiver and where we're going next year. That's for sure.
100%.
But Jake, I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for bringing me up. I just wanted to stop in and say hey to everybody and let everybody know I'm good. And
Mike,
I'll continue watching, buddy.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing well. Okay, Mike, that's scary, but I appreciate you checking in with us, and we gave you a shout out on the air the other day when you sent me that tweet. So glad you're doing okay.
Thanks, Jake. You take care, okay, buddy?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Turtle checking in. Fresh from the hospital. Still had the medical band on. Unreal. Scary stuff. Speaking of scary stuff, Nate on the bike. Hello, Nate.
Yeah. He's not yelling at me. You to sit here. Don't worry. He's not yelling at me, Jake. He was yelling at someone else. Can you hear me?
Oh, we hear you all right.
We're on our way back from, unfortunately, a Mets loss with Craig. We had very nice dream seats. We had $30. We actually had like $90 in food vouchers, so we were buying people ice cream at the end. Tremendous time with Craig and Mrs. Craig at Citi Field. I think we actually turned Mrs. Craig into a Mets fan. She bought a Mets hat and was all over the stadium. Wow. I was hoping to get on with Will Parkinson. Sorry, say it again.
I was just going to say, how come Craig is not on the bike with you? With Mrs. Craig, you couldn't fit 3 people?
No, Mrs. Craig fits the weight limit, but with Mr. Craig on top, I guess I'll call him now. He didn't fit the weight limit because they're probably stuck on the 7 train. I don't know if they're calling it now, but I dropped them off at the 7 train 15 or 20 minutes ago, and as I'm riding back in the city, so they're on their way back to the Hotel Edison, or as I like to say, the Hotel Craig in Times Square on 47th Street.
What bridge is this right here?
This is the Queensboro, the Ed Koch Bridge, 59th Street Bridge.
The old.
And to the right is the Spider-Man trolley thing on 59th right here, where he saved Jane on the trolley.
Yep.
That was all right here.
Watch out for the Green Goblin.
Yeah, it definitely was. It's got a Green Goblin in front of me. She's not bad. That was. Shout out, and I just want to let you know, nobody got hurt. I don't know if Craig did an edit yet because we were on our way to the game when we called you, but heads up! Hey, that was crazy. Nobody got hurt this morning in the making of that production. Craig did an awesome job, like I said, taking one for the team. It was that wasn't the initial plan we discussed, but he kind of played it off whim and it worked. Speaking of, so yeah, shout out to him. I was gonna ask Will Pa a question about Michael Clemens. I guess he's still on the roster, but I guess I'll ask you my football question. Go ahead. We got traffic. We got bike traffic. We got bike traffic.
Will did mention Barron as someone that can maybe push Clemens off the roster.
Well, I was saying push Clemens off the roster, but can we do what Saleh did 2 years ago, where they like told him to put a lot of weight on and just make him a fatty inside? You know what I'm saying? It's like what I've seen with this Barron kid, based on the other videos that people have put out, he seems to be. Oops, sorry. Seems to be a really like heady player, like and kind of the opposite of Michael Clemens in terms of like knowing where the ball is and has his eyes on the quarterback, not like a guy that can contain the quarterback and not just going to get stuck staring at the running backs. Like, do you think there's any chance Clemens gets kicked inside at all, and plays more of like an interior? Like we went through the greatest defensive line draft ever and didn't draft a defensive lineman, right? So do you think they see like just putting some weight on him and making him like a JFM type that might primarily play more on the inside, stopping the run, and then get him out of there when it counts and when like he has to use his brain on third downs?
It would surprise me, just because he was so ineffective when he did add the weight and they tried that. But I guess we can't rule it out.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my only shot. I guess I'd want to kick Clemens on the roster because I really don't want him on the edge where he has to use his brain and his eyes to make decisions. I'd rather just put him inside and give him one job, so to speak.
He's just an undisciplined football player. Like, that's my thing. Like, the penalties are egregious, and he's
an undisciplined football player, and he's also just not good at football. So like those two things combined, it's just that's a bad potion, so to speak. Have you heard anything else about our QB position, or are we just rolling with Adrian Martinez or this like undrafted guy in the worst quarterback class in the history of football? Is that going to be our QB3?
Brady Cook, UDFA, and Adrian Martinez are the only other quarterbacks as such. Fields and Tyrod.
That's it. There's been no other rumblings. So I should just go watch Brady Cook film and get excited.
I guess so. I mean, I suggested Tommy DeVito if they wanted someone young that at least has played in the NFL and has won some games.
That would be the most Tim Tebow-like move. And shout out to Tim Tebow. I saw Tim Tebow Mets jersey at Citi Field today. That would get the Italians in the seats, but I don't know. I would not be excited about a third year of Tommy DeVito with no arm strength. I'm good. So I don't know. It is what it is. Craig's in the chat.
Day in New York.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. If you're in New York and you haven't been outside, cough, Jake. Make sure you get out and go enjoy the day.
No, I was outside, Nate. The problem is my nose is brutal. My throat. I have the worst.
Are you an allergy person?
Yeah, and I will say this: last 2 days have been two of the worst allergy days I've ever had. Like I have been blowing my nose nonstop for the last 48 hours.
Those whatever trees are like. Oh, you're right. All those trees are like, yeah, I see it. They're flying in my eyes, and I don't have allergies. I just can't see at times. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff flying in your face these days.
Yeah, like I can't breathe. Like it's bad. I've taken 2 showers today already to wash off the pollen.
Oy. Well, you're going to the Mets game, or I mean, not Mets game. You're going to the Yankee game on Saturday with Craig?
I'm supposed to go Saturday, weather permitting.
Yeah, weather permitting. Can I do a brief plug real quick as I make my way out? Now we're speaking of Mets and Yankees.
Sure.
So we're doing possibly a Mets. We're trying to get as much feedback as possible, but through the Asmaniac and Shiner community, a lot of us on July 6th, and I think Rick Kent, Addison. Well, again, we're still confirming a lot of these dates. Some of the out-of-towners might come in, and we might try to take over Citi Field on Sunday, July 6th. Mets Yankees Subway Series. Tickets will run us about, $140 or so. I'm not making an official as Maniac announcement. I'm just saying, like, a lot of us crew that always hangs out together. If you want to, Mets and Yankee fans, obviously invited. Sunday, July 6th. If you're here, obviously it's the weekend, July 4th weekend. But if you're in town, that looks like the target date for a Subway Series meetup. And obviously, I think the invitation to you as well, Jake, will get you in there.
Nate, I love it. Uh-oh. We were losing Nate connection-wise. But I appreciate you hopping on, Nate. Drive safe. Joey Matt writes in, this is the type of guy any driver in New York City despises. Complete clown. How dare you say that about our friend Nate? He's our clown. Anyway, to quote Charles Gorman, anyway, let's get to more of your calls, shall we? Pork in the Morning is next. Hello, Pork.
Hey, Jake. What's up? How you doing?
What's up, Pork? Yes, sir.
All right. No, I'm excited about the draft. I love most of the guys that we got. I like A.Z. Thomas. He's probably my favorite pick. I also like the tight end. I wanted Warren, but we didn't get him. I think he's a great pick. Mason is. His dad played for us, so I think he's perfect for this scheme. He's a possession guy. I think he can make some plays. So with that, I mean, Justin Fields is going to be there, and I think we're going to see a lot of runs. The Arian Smith is kind of a head scratcher, but I could see why they did it, to take the top off the defense. I mean, if you can't put as many guys in the box when you got that speed out there. Now, can he catch? We'll see. I mean, that's that's a big thing. I mean, if he's got stone hands, then we're really screwed. But I'm always optimistic about the team until we start sucking, and then I'm terrible. But I think people are going to be surprised this year with us.
In a good way?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Want to make sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just shout out to everybody. I'm pro Beast. I don't even know why that guy came on the show.
Joey Beasley or Bobby Beasley, excuse me.
Moron. Yeah. I mean, I don't even see what his point is going on the show. But the other day, my pool stick was stolen here in Memphis.
Someone stole your pool stick?
Yeah, we were having a tournament, and I went up. I think I went to the bathroom or whatever, and I wasn't playing, so I wasn't really looking at it. I didn't think anybody would steal it, but we got the guy on camera. We got his name from his credit card.
Really?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's it's a local bar where we all hang out. They're gonna get his name and his picture from the cameras.
So you guys think that you'll be able to get this guy and get his ass?
Well, yeah, the guy who owns the bar is an ex-cop, so
hell yeah.
You know what I mean? It's already in the works, so we'll get it back, or I'll get the money and get a new one. I mean,
so what do you like? Do you think he'll be arrested? Do you think you need a lawyer, maybe?
He might get arrested. I mean, the stick's about $600, so it's a misdemeanor.
Wow, that is a expensive pool stick. That is legit.
Yeah, it's no bullshit, but I mean, I have other ones, but I didn't really think anybody would steal from that joint. Everybody knows your name in there. There's cameras everywhere.
It's like the Cheers bar, right?
Yeah, but basically, yeah. I mean, everybody knows you. I mean, there are TVs everywhere. It's a family joint basically for older folks, like 40 plus. But it's an awesome place.
I'll tell you what, Pork. If you do need a lawyer, you know who you got to call, right?
Oh yeah, it's Mr. Bonesy. I do need.
Are you an actual lawyer or what, man?
Yeah, I am a lawyer.
Better call Bonesy. Simple as that. Hit the like button if you haven't. Comments, questions, super chats. Reminder, if you gift a membership to Dave Briga or Will Parkinson, you get an item from the merch store. This week, we're giving away in our raffle signed Aaron Glenn photo, signed Joe Klecko helmet, signed Justin Fields helmet, and a signed, full-sized, authenticated, and display case Joe Willie Namath helmet. So gift away for your chance to win. Plus, it helps me have a job the more memberships we get. So thank you to all for your daily support. More of your calls right now. Let's say hi to Amsterdam Jet Fan. What's up, Amsterdam Jet Fan?
Hey, Jake. Good to see you again.
You too, man.
Yeah, it was great to see Will on the show. Follow him a lot on all of his other channels. Also great to see his relative optimism, I must say. Because it was kind of a up and down week, really, with everybody's reactions to the draft. Which, I was thinking about it. It almost is so typical Jetsian in the way that like it was actually really good, and then we went like kind of ape shit about a 4th round pick when after like reading up on it. I mean, they really went after him. Like they targeted the guy. Like they had him in for visits. They kind of had a whole plan. They were planning to take him probably the whole draft. Maybe they got him a little earlier than before. Who knows? But it was very intentional, this pick from them, which I think speaks to the coaching staff, which I want to get to in a second because you guys already talked about that too. But and the other criticism about not taking a DT, pretty sure they would have taken a tackle if certain people weren't taken right in front of them too, so that also affects things. And if AZ is a potential starting corner this year, then you're talking about an A draft, I think. With maybe 3 to 4 people that are going to have significant playing time. And then I was also thinking, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, like, do you know of like what in the last 8 years our 4th round draft picks were that we got also upset about this year?
They're all bad. James Morgan. I can tell you one of them. James Morgan was one of them.
Exactly. I mean, that's the one that I remember. Michael Carter the first was one of them too.
Yeah.
But also Mitchell and Clemens and Michael Pirine was in there, and Trayvon Wesco apparently. And it's like, just speaks a little bit to the PTSD, I think, about like we're having a potential A draft, and then we're like, oh my God, we drafted the 4th round speed burner, way too high. What are we doing? We are the only team that would do that. I've heard that a lot too over this past week. Only the Jets would take somebody at 105 instead of 200 something, or what, you know what I mean? I think there's a little bit of that going on. It's calmed down a bit, but I think we should be happy with what we got, especially with the intention with which these people are taking these players. The way Glenn is handling things, Muji, we'll see. But I mean, my God, the Ulbrich disaster this week just exacerbated everything that, it was like a big reminder of like, oh, that's what we've been, dealing with for the last few years, really. I mean, he was obviously probably the worst coach we've ever had, put there at a moment he wasn't even ready for that, right? And Saleh was a good defensive coordinator. Head coach was too much for him. I mean, he even kind of said so when he, in first year, he's like, oh my God, all this admin, I don't know what to do, right? He even said that. So having good coaching, I mean, we've been hearing it all week. Having good coaching is going to change everything, and I think the messaging is there. I even think uproar about Aaron Glenn mentioning Jameson Williams is overrated, because the question was about drops, and he was answering like, well, that's fixable. I've seen that happen with this other player that I used to coach.
I get it, but he loses me when you're like Jameson Williams, like was a top 15 pick for a reason. Like
no, I know, but I didn't think he was comparing them as equality players. I just saw it as answering a question about drops are fixable. Basically, that's the way.
Look, at the end of the day, if they got the first couple picks right, that's more important than whatever on day 3. It will be very Jet-like if this class ends up sucking besides Arian Smith. Remember, the signing people didn't like the most last year was John Simpson, right? We all loved Mike Williams, Tyron Smith, like Morgan, like we loved everything they did. But John Simpson, what? Will McDonald, what? And they were like 2 of the best players on the team last year, while the rest of the team was shit. So you never know.
Yeah. No, that's true. But how? Yeah, I mean, I've heard about A-, A+ drafts over the last 8-10 years, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times. Well, maybe not that many times, but I just thought the B- and then like reservations was just unwarranted. I think it was really good considering. I think the AZ pick is the surprise one that we kind of hopefully will realize. Oh my God, we have the return of Revis and Cromartie basically, in these 2 guys in a couple of years.
Sign me up for that, please.
So, that'll and who's going to get the best out of those guys? I mean, obviously Aaron is going to do that with his experience. Will Pa and you are both high on Steve Wilkes. I haven't followed the guy much, but I guess we just, what could we have done with proper coaching over the last 5 years? We'll never know, but I'm here for it. And I'm also here for the 9 wins. I mean, We won 7 games with Zach Wilson. What the hell? We got better coaching now and better QB. Why does it have to be less than that? Right?
Sign me. Look, anyway. I like the optimism. Sign me up for it. Yeah. I'm in.
All right. See you in London.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amsterdam Jet fan, one of the greats. Good call there. We got a lot of positive calls today. I like a little positivity on the 1st of May. Purple Belt Mike is up next. What's up, Mike?
Yo, what's up?
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I was laughing because looking at the chat before, how many people said that I was on TRT or some shit like that. I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah, how are the steroids?
Yeah, no. I can't do any of that shit. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you there's 2 different things between the company and the company at Jace. 2 different so the company used to be Bolt, but there was like problems with leadership or whatever. So they broke apart in 2 different groups. So who you met at the draft party, Josh, he's the president of the company at Jace. So it's kind of like separate from the company. And
so there's 2 fan groups of ESPN New York. There's the company of Jace and the company is what you're telling me?
Yeah. I wanted to make sure you knew that.
No, I had no idea. I mean,
yeah.
I'm glad they listened to the station. That's my first priority. And then, but so Lonnie is the company. He was at the draft party as well.
Yeah. So Lonnie is the founder of the company.
Okay.
And
Josh is the company of Jace.
Correct. Yeah. So they're 2 different. Yeah.
All right. Well, shout out to the company and the company of Jace for supporting me on ESPN New York and on this YouTube channel.
And you're getting a lot of following from both. They both like you. Because I'm in both.
Appreciate it.
I'm in both chats, so you're doing well.
So you're like Switzerland. You didn't declare a side in this fan group war. You're with both.
Yeah, I try to be friends with everybody unless they give me a reason not to be. And
you're a good man.
No one has given me a reason not to be. So I'm friends with Lonnie. I'm friends with Josh. I'm friends with everybody.
I like it. Now,
so it's good.
Can we dive into the drama? Why did the company and the company Jace need to be started? Like, what was wrong with the original ESPN New York fan group, the company?
Yeah, that is not my thing to say. If you're that interested, I'll talk to you offline.
I just think it's funny that there's drama with a group that supports a local sports talk radio station. I just think it's great.
Yeah. You could definitely say that, but yeah, there was, some shit went down and then that was it. And
so that'd be like if the Asmaniacs, like if there was like a split somehow and like
there would be the Asmaniacs and the Asmaniac and Jace, and they both follow you and they go after each other in the chat. It would be just like that. And then you have some people like me who were part of both. Yeah, that is exactly the comp.
Okay. I understand now, so I appreciate the clarification.
Yep. And the Mets blew it today, so that pissed me off.
Oh, boo-hoo. You lost 2 in a row at home for the first time all year.
Soto hit 2 home runs, so I guess that's positivity.
Definitely.
But yeah. All right, Jake. Awesome show. I just wanted to call on to give a little clarification.
I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Purple Belt Mike. How about that? A sports radio fan group has 2 groups because they couldn't get along with one. Did not know that. The company of Jace. Just that name there. So the fan group's name is The Company. The subgroup of it, post-split, is The Company of Jace. The Asmaniacs, and then the Asmaniacs of Jace. Someone needs to make the chat name Asmaniacs of Jace. You'll be the first one if you go fast. And if that username gets a channel membership, I'll also send you an item from the merch store. I will make a shirt that says the Asmaniac of Jace for whoever gets that one. All right? More of your calls right now. Wow, look who's on the line. We haven't heard from this guy in a long time. Evan is next. What's up, Evan?
Jay, good to hear from you, my brother. How you doing?
You too, man. Where you been?
All over the map, same old crap, but good stuff. Good stuff. Been busy on the personal life, but I'm back in New York, so good to be back. The energy is always good in New York when both baseball teams are good. I just feel like, I don't know if you sense that, but when both baseball teams are good, you see that everyone's wearing a hat, either Met or Yankee, and everything's just like positive.
Especially on nice days, people come out of the woodwork with the hats on.
Exactly, man. I got a question for you, and I'll keep with the positivity a little bit. I'm kind of shocked at how, this is going to sound stupid, but let me explain. I'm shocked at how negative everyone is, and not because, we haven't been losing for 15 years and haven't made the playoffs in forever, but this is usually a time of year where Jet Copium is kind of at max volume. I was just thinking about this after the draft. Like last year, we drafted Jordan Travis with our 5th-round pick, and all the Jet fans afterwards were like, "Oh my God, this guy's great. He would have been a 2nd or 3rd-round pick if he didn't get hurt. He can succeed Rodgers. He's all this. He's all that." This year, we draft a safety out of Alabama who's one of their team captains, and it's like, this guy was a reach. He was, he's picked early. Who we got in the next round? What did he do?
Oh no! No. Evan, call back in when you get maybe better phone connection, or if you can get on Wi-Fi, because it was a little choppy. I think I have I got the gist of what you were saying. I think there's more negativity this year for a couple of reasons. One, last year did a lot of damage to the fan base. The last 2 years, but especially last year, like a lot of damage. I used this during one of my rants on a post-game show, and I think it's turned out to be true. Last year did irreparable damage to the fan base. It just did. Some of the most optimistic Jet fans I know are negative now. That's what type of damage it did. A lot of people canceled their season tickets. They then went out there, and even though we like Aaron Glenn, he's still a defensive-minded coach who's never been a head coach before. There's an unknown there. The GM is also a first-timer. Play caller, also a first-timer. It's just a lot of inexperience and unknowns. So I think that's part of it. I also think there was, I don't know if it was half, but there was a large amount of members of this fan base that did not want them to move off of Aaron Rodgers. And they did. So that also splits people. So you combine how damaging the last couple of years have been, the hires being inexperienced. It's not like they hired Bill Parcells, right? We hope Glenn is Bill Parcells. He comes from the Parcells mold, right? But because Glenn's new and people like Rodgers didn't want that, you just combine all that, and I think that's why, at least in my lifetime during this playoff drought, there isn't that hopium that we're accustomed, or winning the offseason, and here we go, it's going to finally turn. I'd go into every year, in my head, of course there's a way for them to be good. No one saw 2015 coming. They didn't make the playoffs, but they should have. They were 10-6. Right? No one saw 2009. I always in my head would go into the year being it can happen. There's teams that go from worst to first in the league every year. 4 new teams on average make the playoffs that didn't the previous year. But I just think you look at these factors, and I think the biggest thing is just the last 2 years were so bad. We have never had more hope. And there was for legitimate reasons. Right? They were 6-3, 7-4 in 2022 before the collapse. They needed the quarterback. They got Aaron Rodgers. We had him for 4 plays. They still win 7 games that year. Then this past year, Rodgers plays every snap, doesn't miss one due to injury, starts 17 games, and they went 5-12. It fired the coach at 2-3. It did a lot of damage to the fan base. So, for the Jets to kind of win back the down and out Jet fan, they got to win games. It's as simple as that. People will jump back in the second this team's any good. This is the greatest fan base in the NFL, I believe. You just got to give this fan base a reason to believe again. More of your calls right now. Papa Jet is on the line. What's up, Papa?
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
What's up, Papa? How we feeling?
Yeah. Had better weeks. We'll just say that. But anyways, I'm not going to talk the draft. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'm just not in the mood today. But I've been in and out the last few days, and I caught the replay of the Beast versus Beasley call.
Mm-hmm.
And at first when that Beasley came on, he seemed sincere. So I was when you were telling him to get proof and all that, I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And I think him not showing up the last 2 days, I think that's kind of weird, so I'm thinking Beast is right. But the funniest part of that call, Jake, I laughed my ass off, was when Bonesy came on to confront Beasley. And I don't know if I'm getting it word for word, but Bonesy asked him something, and Beasley said, well, Beast always lies or is a pathological liar. And Bonesy goes, we know half the stuff that comes out of Beast's mouth is bullshit. but he's still ours or one of us or whatever. And I laughed just like that. He said it, and I laughed so hard, but that's why not Beasley, Mr. Bonesy's wearing the crown,
That's why he's the champ. Yeah.
Yeah. That made me laugh so hard. Then another thing I just wanted to tell you, I had to go to a awards dinner for my son. In his field, he got recognized in his field, marketing and advertising, and it was pretty prestigious award. It was like a couple counties, and anyways, it wasn't really my type of crowd because it was kind of white collar there, champagne, like I'm a sweatpant kind of guy and stuff. But anyways, I mingled, but his boss set him up because his boss wrote him up a nice thing for the lady to say on stage about his accomplishments. And then at the end, it said, in Luke's free time, he likes to paint on canvas and unfortunately follows the New York Jets. There's probably 200 people in the crowd. This is in Niagara Falls, so it's Bill's territory.
Yep.
There was so many boos, and he just started laughing, and he pointed to me, and I just raised both arms like, come on, bring it on, But I thought it was kind of funny.
I love it. That's awesome. Hopefully one day we get the last laugh.
Exactly. But I'll call tomorrow and try to talk this draft here with you, Jake. So have a good night.
Papa Jet checking in. Love it. Congrats to your son on the accomplishment as well and the award. That's awesome. For those who missed it, Beastbreaker, everyone knows Beast, but he's got a guy that apparently has been trolling him for the last couple of years. A fellow wrestler who goes by the name Bobby Beasley. You've seen Beast yell about this Beasley character on the show. Beast has mentioned him in the chat a bunch. And we didn't really know anything about Bobby Beasley until he called in for the very first time Tuesday morning. On the line right now is a guy who is claiming to be Bobby Beasley, Beastbreaker's arch nemesis. Mr. Beasley, is this you?
We went to high school. He was having some degree of difficulty graduating, and they had me there as a mentor for him. When I was mentoring him, he discovered that I was training to become a professional wrestler. I come from a professional wrestling family. He would take all these stories about Cary High School, being prom king, and this and that. That's all stuff that comes from my life. 100% of what he comes up with, he's taking that from my life.
Is that Beasley?
That is. That's the son of a bitch I want.
What is the backstory? Why he doesn't like you?
Jealousy is what I would imagine.
He doesn't have a daughter?
Yeah, as far as I know, no daughter.
He's a son of a bitch.
Calm down. Is he a Jets fan? You can't say he's not a Jets fan.
I would imagine he's a Chicago Bears fan.
But he has actual Jets gear.
I think he probably bought that before he got on your show, man.
There once was a woman who called in named Julie that was his sister-in-law. Is she not real?
No. I don't think anyone's out there claiming Beastbreaker 666 is a relative.
We'll get to the bottom of this piece, all right?
This is it, Beasley.
But
you are not Asmaniacs. You're not real New York Jet. You're a lion sack of dog crap, just like your life is. And I'm going to put you in submission with this belt.
We have two sides to the story now, and I'm not saying you're not telling the truth or anything like that. It's our first experience with you, Mr. Beasley, here, so I'm just trying to get some more background information on the whole thing.
I worked my ass off to come on here. I put blood and sweat and tears and agony and grief and pain.
Gator says, what actual evidence do you have for your claims?
Just messages from friends.
Interesting. All right, let's check in with Beast right now.
There are layers to this, man. Jason, it's good to see you, my friend.
Calm down, Beast.
Easy, pal.
Say I can't take
Oh,
the risk
come on.
immediately.
I've heard some hot bullshit from a clown like that. That guy is a disgrace to the Asmaniacs. I've been on this show more times. I've bled, fight, kick, scratch, and did more than you. And I got more balls than you.
I don't know what his obsession is with me, to be honest, man.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about you, but Beast does not like you, obviously. Just that you're his arch nemesis. He's screaming and yelling that you're invading the show. You're in the chat. Did you meet him in high school? Was he your mentor, Beast? Let's start there.
No, He never went to Cary High School. Never did. He's not an asmaniac. He's not a Jet fan hiding in his basement with his little pink panties on and a tutu on.
I went to Cary. I definitely mentored the man. I've got pictures to prove it, too, now that I'm looking through my Facebook right now.
We want to see some photos of you two together.
I certainly have those.
Why the fuck are you even doing this?
Because I've got a big heart, sir.
Bobby Beasley, I'm sorry to tell you, you guys didn't go to the same high school. You guys met at some fruity wrestling event, and now you're just messing with the guy. You are just trying to ruin Beastbreaker's big moment. I don't care what you say. Half the stuff Beastbreaker tells us, we know is bullshit. Who cares? He's our guy. You coming on this show, you're doing nothing for him. If you cared about him, you wouldn't come on here dogging him and making him act like his whole act is a whole crop of shit.
What have I said that has dogged him? Did I meet him at a wrestling event? No, I met him in school. What the hell are you talking about?
Bullshit. You did not meet him in school. Listen, bro, if you cared about Beast, there's no reason you would have came on the show.
Hey, don't bro me, man, all right? Are you an actual lawyer or what, man?
Yeah, I am a lawyer. Why?
Fantastic. No, I was just curious.
You like to pose for little boys in gay porn magazines.
I don't even know what the hell that is, but somehow you do.
Bobby Beasley, you need to show us a lot more proof. I still don't understand if you cared about Beast for a second, you wouldn't.
There's an episode 2, man. I can guarantee it.
Real life things that happen on this show. By the way, underrated line from Bonesy. You and Beast met at some fruity wrestling event. There's so many good lines in that exchange. And that wasn't the whole thing, by the way. I asked Gator if he could basically edit down a quick recap because I wanted to make sure people that didn't see it live could have an understanding of what the chat is talking about when you tune in. And you're like, who's Beasley? So there you go. Let's check in with the man himself right now. Not Bobby Beasley, but how about Beastbreaker? Beast, you there? Beast? Beast, you sleeping? All right, everyone, I'm going to sound the alarm, so cover your ears or turn down your volume.
Morning! Hello, everybody! Hello, everybody! Hello! 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 I'm up, everybody. I just got up from my nap. I'm feeling good. Son of a bitch! I'm up. I just got up from my nap. I just took a long, long nap. Joshua, are you starting stuff with my daughter again? Boy, get a life, ese vato. Jake, I don't feel so good. I just woke up from that nap, kid. That was a real nice nap, but nah, I'm not hungry for gabagool. That's too much. It's kind of fattening. You gotta watch that stuff. I want to give a shout out to some people right now, but I'm kind of waking up still. I'm a little tired. Jake, can you come back in like 30 minutes? Or what is it? Hassa! Hassa! Hey! 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 hey, Hester! Oh, whoa. Where the hell am I? Holy shit. Sorry about the mess.
All right, more of your calls right now. Let's say hello to for the first time today to our good friend Beast Breaker.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you gotta come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
What's up, Beast? How you doing?
I don't know what happened. I don't know what hit me. I fell asleep for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, that's something just didn't go right. So okay, feel a little better. Just got that little bit out of my system. Oh, Bobby Beasley report.
Yeah, tell us about Beasley.
Dustin got 35 multiple rounds of lies on him that are big.
Who's Dustin?
A friend of mine from Wisconsin. He did all the reporting.
So he knows Beasley as well, this Dustin character?
35 rounds of lies. Oh, you know that little thing he said about, I went to move to Milwaukee in 2015. Unfortunately, the survey says wrong. That was wrong. That information was poorly misinformation. Very bad. And then him trying to claim that he was my mentor in high school and that other crap. The survey says, no, it was wrong. Yet again, false. Very, very, very piss poor and very, very incomplete. Never happened. Never happened. My friend Dustin will tell you in the coming days. So, to everybody, go get your popcorn, your potato chips, and your 6-pack of whatever. Get ready, because the final blow is coming. And get ready for when you see this final blow. It's going to change the face on this show forever. And it will be talked about for months, days, weeks, and years. And it will happen very soon.
What about centuries?
Oh, yeah, centuries too. For centuries down the road. It's coming.
In a galaxy far, far away?
Yes, please. In a George Lucas term. As a sign of matter of respect. And I'm going to be watching. I will not be interfering in this match. I will be watching.
Love it. Beast, we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Hot! I might be big, I might be bad, but I'm going to take your ass down.
Well said, Beast. Kyle Clifton with a super chat. Wait, did Parkinson call me Beast before? I'd rather be confused with Little Joey. Man. I think he did, Kyle. You're in the raffle for 2. Ladies and gentlemen, last chance to get in. Jets Jesus, you're next. What's going on, Jets Jesus?
Jake, that was wild. I'm like, is it now? Is it now? It's like a vortex of beast from different periods of time. It's insane. Okay. What was I'm like, it totally broke my train of thought. I'm like lost now. Okay. Also, I was snowboarding this morning and watched your first show on the drive back from the mountains, and then it went right into this show. So I don't know what is now and what was earlier today.
That's great. Hey, I'm glad that the YouTube algorithm sent you right here.
Yeah, it was perfect. Okay, so to keep up with the silliness and all that kind of stuff, but also a little bit of seriousness mixed in. I think that AZ Thomas wasn't really in the Jets' plans for him to slip to them, And obviously with the Stevens signing previously in the during the off season before the draft, that wasn't part of their plans. But when he was there, they kind of had a moment, and and that moment was like Lowski when he first heard about Gorman's mom's chicken soup. And that was how it went. Glenn was in there, and he was like, I need that AC Mosley. Give me that AC Mosley right now. Don't hold out on that AC Mosley. And then Mosley was like, okay. And then also off in the corner was like, from what's it called? From I'm gonna lose it now. For Eddie Murphy from where he's playing the 3 different guys in the barbershop, and they're like, that boy good. All 3 of those dudes were there as all of the different scouts and stuff. I feel like that was the scene of chaos in the room.
Coming to America? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, the original actually also in the sequel, but in the original Coming to America.
Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like it was kind of that type of situation where they were just surprised that he was there and were like, can't pass on this dude. And once I learned more, as I learned more about that pick, I liked that pick, which was pretty quick, where it was like, okay, it wasn't offense like I was hoping, and I think like you were hoping, and but he fits so well into the system that that he really is such a great pick, and I'm excited to see what he's got. And that's something that's kind of warmed me up on this draft a bunch more. And I know in the earlier show, I think you're up to a B grade now. You were saying or something. I think you let out a B, maybe B plus. And I'm kind of in the same boat where
I was B minus, and then Nick Faria strong armed me to a B on the show last Sunday. So now we're at a B.
Oh, we're at a B. Okay, yeah. I saw the Nick Faria strong arm, and okay, and I thought it jumped up one higher on this morning show, but maybe I'm inaccurate.
Jets Jesus, if you want me to go to a B plus, I'm happy to do it for you. B plus.
I'm not necessarily at a B plus yet, but we'll see.
Okay.
It's definitely it could happen. I'm definitely I was in the C's. I was like C plus on I think when I called in on day of, and I'm in the B's now for sure, and maybe B plus also. And but yeah, one of the things, and I don't remember who said it, but the really the staff having the chutzpah to be able to just draft exactly who they felt fit the system and not really caring about anything else. And that I thought was a big plus, where it's like, all right, there's all these players that, they've got whatever kind of shine on them, and whatever sort of stuff, stuff set around them, and they went and got the guys that they wanted. And they said they have a plan, and it makes, we're all still kind of trying to predict what this offense is going to look like for the most part. But the more I learn about these players, they do seem to make sense. Even with Will earlier in this episode, him talking about, what's his name, Kiko, the linebacker, something like that. And him having stuff that, positive things to say about him, because I was like, man, I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, everybody else is kind of making sense to me, but like this linebacker, like where is this dude even coming from? But yeah, I'm now just curious. I now feel I've kind of, everything else is sort of blown over for me draft wise with any sort of negative stuff with, oh, I wanted this guy and that would have been better, and there was D-line available both at edge and at D tackle. There was receivers that I liked. And now I'm just like, all right, like, let's see what they do with this. Cause it seems, I don't know, I'm generally like curious. It makes me, they did what they were supposed to do and got me excited for the off season.
Yeah. Look, they took a safe but smart approach the first 2 days. And then it felt like, here comes some of the risk, and maybe it works out. I don't know. But if they come away with Membu being really good, Taylor being really good, and they contribute right away, and then Thomas is as good as many of us think he could be, that's a great draft. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. And on Buffalo Jets fans, he was kind of, on his show, he was kind of talking, comparing about like, hey, we've got 3 guys for sure with the first 2 picks that are going to be pretty much starting right away. And then you're looking at other, and he's not the only one that said this. Plenty of other people have said it. But then you've got Thomas that'll come out and probably be starting in a season or two, but potentially during this season, especially if Stevens slips. And it's really nice to have him if Stevens slips, because we all, a lot of us weren't loving picking him up to begin with because he didn't look great over with the Ravens.
Right, and maybe he goes to safety like Will was talking about too.
Yeah, for sure. And then I really like the safety pick. I think that kid's going to be good and end up starting right away.
Yeah, I like Malachi more as well. Look, time will tell. It's easy to say that, but I do think we're going to look back on this draft class and feel pretty good about it in a year or two, and that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, obviously now we're just shooting it about the draft, and then seeing how things are as we digest stuff over the next couple of weeks and that kind of stuff until we can start to see some things out of camps and things of that nature. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like in a lot of ways, any sort of dark cloud that was over parts of the draft have kind of faded for me, and turned into 6 inches of snow on the mountain that I rode this morning, and that was pretty awesome.
Dude, I can't even think about snowboarding, skiing. It was like 75 and sunny here in the city. Colorado's different, man.
It's different, and what's wild was when I got down from the mountain and I got back to where I live, it was like 60 something degrees out here.
It's crazy. That's unreal, man. Stay safe.
I will, man. Be well, dude. Oh, hey, and go Knicks tonight. Go Knicks tonight. I haven't paid any attention to this basketball season. I haven't really. My fandom outside of the Jets is a bunch of wild stories, but I've been hyped about the Knicks, and you talking about them and stuff. I watched the last game. I'm rooting for them, man. I don't have another team. I'm rooting for them.
I appreciate it, Jets Jesus. To all the Knicks fans out there, we got Jets Jesus on our side. Knicks in 6. We can't lose now. There's no way. All right. More of your calls before we wrap up the show. Eric is next on the line. What's up, Eric?
Hey, Jake. Man, they need to do a case study on some of the callers you have on this show. Things with Beastbreaker and Beasley and all that stuff. Who's lying? Who's telling the truth about what? Kind of crazy stuff.
It really is.
Hey, Beast. Yeah, but about the Jets, man. You were saying earlier about all the negativity surrounding us. I'd really love for us to open in Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football and just go in there and punch them in the mouth and show them we made the right choice getting off of Rodgers, do a play action, get Smith a deep ball, show that we made the right move, justify some of the actions that we made and just really start the season right, because we're always coming back from behind and it's never going to work out. Show that we have a coach who knows what he's doing for once.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you want this fan base to get on board with Aaron Glenn immediately, go beat Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers at MetLife week 1 if that's the game. Like, that will do it, because I'm very worried about Rodgers coming back and lighting our ass up and never hearing the end of it from the rest of the universe.
That's pretty much what everybody's been saying, and that would be the most Jets thing to happen. So if you really want to prove we're new Jets, go and do that. I want that. I want that smoke. I want to go in and beat them right away and get off to the right start.
Or they lose, and Aaron Glenn is now trying to get up from that. And it's one game, but, remember Adam Gase's first game, had this big lead, they blow it, they never recovered from that. The fan base was out on him right away.
Yeah, that's probably what's more likely to happen. But, I'd rather know right from the start than, get this mid. I want playoffs, I want wins, and I want to be in the right direction. So, I want to know that right away that we're on that track instead of just messing around and trying stuff out. And this guy's going here. Like, we've got
a good start. I think that's key with this regime, right? Like, obviously, if you could beat Aaron Rodgers week 1, that'd be huge. But, like, can they start 3-2? Can you get a big win at home against a divisional opponent early in the year? Like, Rex Ryan's second game, he beat Belichick and Brady at the old Giants Stadium. Like, people were sold on Rex after that. They started 3-0 that year. Like, can this new regime give us some hope early in the year?
Yeah, exactly. Rex started 2-0 and beating the Patriots, and we still worship him to this day. I mean, it's also the 2 back-to-back championships, but you got to start strong with a message. That's what Rex did. He sent messages for us, so I'm hoping we have something like that, man. I'm just tired of losing all the time.
100%, Eric. Good call as always.
Thanks.
Garrett says, what did Bobby Beasley even do? Beastbreaker. Garrett, you need to pay attention. Well said, Beast. Daniel, our last caller down in Mexico. What's up, Daniel?
Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing, bro?
What's up, man?
Well, I'm calling because I want to share my opinion about the early retirement of Jordan Travis. You know, we were talking about the opportunity that he has in the competition for a second spot in the second year of the Aaron Glenn regime, but sadly, it won't happen. It is very sad that a athlete with a high upside has to finish his career for an injury. It's very sad. But about that, people start to question about why do Moogie and Glenn didn't draft a quarterback in this draft. And I think that even though they knew before Jordan Travis wasn't able to play the season, they didn't want the the media and the reporters to make pressure over that news and try to make some noise about drafting a quarterback and trying to put pressure on their regime. So I think that's why they hide the information about Jordan Travis, so they can do the draft without having the pressure of drafting a quarterback, and then give the news. So now we can start talk about it, but it's actually up to Justin Fields to what he do in this season. Hopefully, he can thrive to a winning season for the Jets. But yeah, I think that's why the Jets didn't inform about the Jordan Travis injury before the draft.
100%. Well, here's the thing. I don't think they loved any of these quarterbacks. And I'd argue maybe you should just still take someone because get someone else in the pipeline. But they're giving Fields truly every opportunity to be their guy. And if he's not, we all know they're going quarterback in the first round next year.
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at the projected quarterbacks coming out. I think I saw a mock today that had 4 guys in the top 10. It's going to be like what last year was in regards to the quarterbacks. Now, you know, things change. Obviously, you could think a guy's going to be great, and Carson Beck was supposed to be a first-round guy. He went back to school because no one wanted him. Quinn Ewers, first or second-round pick at the worst, 6th round. So you never know, but the consensus is it's a way better QB class next year, and I think that's their plan. Let's ride it out with Fields. Maybe he's our guy. If he's not, we'll address our need next year.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that opinion. And also, it is trying to change the topic here. It is very funny to me that in the last 20 years, the more reliable jerseys that we have is from linemen. You know, like you bought the Rodgers jersey 2 years ago, and now it's like, let me throw it to the trash can. It is actually pretty funny because I feel like this season we have a very strong offensive line, so we can feel confident about it. And I hope Justin Fields can take advantage of the opportunity of having a good offensive lineman. And yeah, well, that's my take, Jake. And just to finish, I don't know what happened with the Beast Breaker stuff, storyline, WWE type stuff with Bobby Beasley. I thought Bobby Beasley was a imaginary friend, but it is a real person, man, and it is funny. So I don't know what happened with Beast Breaker and Beasley, but it is kind of funny to me because Beast Breaker is really hilarious, man. I enjoy a lot what he does. It really it makes me laugh. It is very hilarious, man.
Are there people like Beast Breaker in Mexico, or is he very unique?
Oh man, I think he's very unique. I can say, yeah, for sure, man.
I love it, Daniel. Great call, man. Keep calling. And
See you later.
Bobby Beasley's real. I mean, he's Beach's arch nemesis, and I'm glad we were able to expose him on the show.
Yeah, that would be great, Jake. Well, see you later, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Beware down in Mexico. Checking in with us there. Love it. Great call. Hit the like button if you haven't. if you're one of the 300 people watching this. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, gift a membership for your chance at the full-size Joe Namath helmet. Full-size. Signed Justin Fields helmet, prize 2. Signed Joe Klecko helmet, prize 3. Signed Aaron Glenn photo, prize number 4. Dun, dun, dun. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gusbuster Hotline is Beast, you there? Beast? Beast? Beast Breaker? Beast? Beast? Not there. Sad. Very sad. But hey, guess what? The show goes on. T-Twizzle, 20 channel memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your helmets now. Give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches. A 20 spot. We haven't had one of those in a long time. Strap up, baby. Here we go. I got 20 names to read. From T, Swizzle, James Finnan, Sneaks NYC, Internet Clips, Marcus Clark, Brandon the H, Jay Perez, Walter McIndoe, John Garcia, Jam, SONY17, Chris Grasso, Adrian Rostin. All receiving channel memberships. Canuck Jets, Brian Rapp, New York Jets Smoking Lounge, HC023. I believe that was 20. It's hard to tell because mixed in there is a 5 spot from Party with Peg and Artie. So 25 memberships, the snap of a finger. 25 raffle entries, 20 for T-Swizzle, 5 for Peg and Artie.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Cat 10 Condor, Josh S., DB Boxing Fan, Adrian Rostin, all receiving memberships from Peg and Artie. Wow. What a show. T-Swizzle, thank you very much, my friend. I would love to get another emoji added. I don't know how many we are away from that. But what should our next Asmaniac emoji be? I'll take suggestions from the chat. T-Swizzle says, let's go. Pay up. Best Jets podcast that exists. Thank you, T-Swizzle. Appreciate that. Let's make sure we didn't miss any super chats. I don't think we have. Jets Jesus emoji, says Bill M. Party with Peg and Artie says a little Joey emoji. We actually have that one ready. Do people want little Joey? This was made, but we never uploaded it because we never hit the threshold. Do people want the little Joey emoji? That would actually be pretty funny. Little Joey. Only on this show could this happen. Catfish Gorman emoji. Man. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. The thing with Little Joey is there's just so many great songs that Little Joey's produced. It might be time to make that happen.
Unreal. Wait till Gorman calls in next. I have a song ready for Charles, but he hasn't called into the show in a couple days. Indy Jets, Little Joey, and Catfish hanging out. Rich says, don't forget to smash the like button. He's right. That's the thumbs up button. Look who decided to join us. Beast, where were you?
I had to hit the bathroom. You know the old saying, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Oh, do we know that saying? All right.
It's called you know the old saying, get the hell out of my way or I'm gonna crap myself.
Is that what they say?
No, I had to go. It's called I feel a lot better. 10 pounds.
You got to
later.
fix the internet up, man. We want to hear what you got to say, you know?
Well, don't worry. I got something to fix it. The very first part of the day.
Holy shit.
That was a good one. Hey, that was a great moment right there.
It was.
Hey, look at this question right here. Look at this question right here from Havmo. Bears, really? Havmo, I think you need an exam called, see this little fella? Get your ears cleaned out once in a while, you idiot. Bobby, June from Webster Avenue, you need your balls reevaluated, and you need to go get your brains reevaluated by a doctor, you putz. Bobby Beasley got a clean butthole. Oh, that's disgusting. I'm sorry. Inappropriate. Sorry about that. I don't want to talk about that.
It's terrible.
Family show, family related, not to be inappropriate.
Amen.
Sorry about that. Excuse my language.
Hey, Beast, what's for dinner tonight?
Stuffed pork chops with corn.
Nice. That sounds delicious.
Well, corn is good. It's vegetables. That's something Gary's afraid of because he's too chicken. It's called Gary. Vegetables. Eat them once in a while. That's what produces muscles, kid. Like this.
Can you give us like a boxing tutorial on the show?
So the jab, that's a 1. Right cross.
You think you take Beastbreaker?
I'm pretty sure I could beat Beastbreaker in a fight.
What gives you the confidence?
The physical appearance of Beastbreaker and having been in countless fights.
What do you mean the physical appearance?
He can't get out of bed.
That's not true. He definitely can get out of bed. He's up. Yeah.
That's training 101. Welcome to my class, Gary.
Hey, he did get out of bed. Good for you.
Get up, sunshine! Ah! I think it's called fear, son. I think it's called fear.
Yeah. Sit down before you have a heart attack, Beast.
That's scary enough to knock one out. Oh, look, you little fuck. I got something for you. Come on down. Who's next? Come on. Who wants a little?
He looks to be in great physical condition.
Yeah, baby.
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. The enemy confront you, he's the enemy. Just bring it all you got. You're all just a bunch of little babies with no guts.
I mean, I learned a lot there, Gary.
Yeah.
What a show. Thank you to everyone who watched. Reminder, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show if you want to join us at our Yankees outing on June 29th. It's first come, first served to Patreon users. If we have any extra tickets, I will open it up to the general public, but we got about 31 tickets left. Shout out to Chef Kev. He bought tickets for his fam earlier today. You can buy up to 4 tickets for your group. Big thank you to John E., Big Cho, Bill P., Taylor D'Onofrio, Peggy McGuire, Dominic D'Angelo, Orlando G., and Australian Jet Fan for being our most recent Patreon members. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Again, my name is Jake Asman. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. JETS. Jets. Joining us right now is Gary. Hello, Gary.
No, it's Gary's wife. Hi, Bobby. I just got new lipstick.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Bobby, don't you think I'm pretty? I know Sarah's pretty, but you love me too, right?
Okay, let's get back to Jake.
Oh.
We're done with this. This is creepy.
You want to see creepy? That's my husband.
Creepy. Jake, why you do this to us? Man, this is like embarrassing.
Don't be embarrassed. I mean, being embarrassed is waking up next to boxing gloves every morning.
No, I'm just saying. You're not creepy with me next to you?
Creepy? Oh my God, no, Bobby. I mean, do you see who I sleep next to every night? I mean, that's creepy.
Jake
Bobby,
always does this to people. He did that to...
I love you.
Gary,
What's up?
You're on for like 2 minutes. You didn't hear that? Jake put you on. You're sitting there, and then he's ringing the bell.
Yeah, my wife. Shut up, Gary. Bobby, would you sing me that pretty song that you sing me?
When I take a bath, you like touch myself. Ooh, I want to make you mine. This is a good song, guys. It's a good song.
You ain't kidding, Bobby. This song rules. When I think about Bobby, I do things.
How did I do?
Bobby, that was amazing. Weedle beetle, deedle deedle, beedle deedle deedle beagle.
Oh, is that Gary's wife? Hi, Gary's wife. Oh, there she is. Got a good looking.